making a game on the go nowadays is pretty awesome. Whether it be on a handheld console or even your phone, being able to pick up a super high quality and entertaining game on a device that could fit in your pocket is insane. But it wasn't always like that. There was a time where handheld games, more specifically the Game Boy, had some stinkers. Don't get me wrong, there were loads of innovative and impressive games that were made on such a simple device, but sometimes going from a game that looked like this to this, it was a little terrible. So today we're going to check out some bad Game Boy ports. Now, what do I consider a port? Well, I guess any game or series in general that was on a console and then was attempted to give new life on the Game Boy. Alright, here's some crap we can all agree with. Mortal Kombat, one of the most visually impressive arcade games at the time, using digitized actors as the crazy and unique characters, ripping off body parts, beating pools of blood out of your opponents. Mortal Kombat is so fun! But maybe I don't want to stand in line at an arcade and give this machine my quarters. Maybe I want to play it on the go. Maybe Mortal Kombat should be on the game, but oh, I already regret everything! Who are you? Who are these melted cheese faces? Okay, so let's fight. Let's not fight. Man, this is the slowest, choppiest fighting game I've ever played. And I played Super Smash Bros. Brawl online on my Nintendo Wii in 2008. I don't even know when a hit does or doesn't land. Sometimes you can be a mile away and still land your attack. Also, playing your fast-paced fighting game at 3 frames per second can be pretty disgusting. Ugh, what is this? Is my game glitching out? Or is it intentionally designed to give me a headache? Things got a little better with Mortal Kombat 2. Visually, yeah, it was still atrocious, but gameplay-wise, it was at least faster paced and much more responsive. You could actually play this one long form and not want to puke. There were also fatalities. How violent. Then Mortal Kombat 3 came out and oh my god, it's worse. How does this happen? You were on the right track with Mortal Kombat 2, and then when the sequel comes out, the most popular Mortal Kombat game at the time, this is what happens? Back to 3 frames per second and melty cheese faces. How do you mess this up that bad? And then, Mortal Kombat 4 came out on the Game Boy Color. This new hardware capable of even greater things than its predecessor. And the game still sucks! Still choppy, still slow, still ugly. The color actually makes it worse. It looks like it was made in Microsoft Paint, and I know I say that a lot, but come on! How could you not think that looking at this? This has got to be the worst trilogy of games in general ported to a handheld. It would be one thing to have one terrible port, but 3? Come on. Sonic the Hedgehog on Game Boy Advance. Ow! My heart, I can't even bring myself to fake enthusiasm. Sonic the Hedgehog on Game Boy Advance sucks. Now you may be looking at this and thinking to yourself, this looks fine, what are you complaining about? But it's not. It really isn't. The best way I can describe this game is bootleggy. It kinda looks like Sonic 1, it kinda plays like Sonic, and it sounds like garbage! The game is just a port done wrong. It feels significantly slower than the original, and in a game all about going fast, that's kind of a problem. Just like when you play a bootleg, it may kind of, sort of, maybe a tiny bit feel like the original. But it just makes you want to play the original. Banjo-Kazooie! The Baron Bird made an awesome legacy on the N64 with their 2 games, so naturally, any popular game series needs to have a spin-off, and what better place to put that than on the Game Boy? Banjo Pilot. Okay, well, Mario Kart is great, and Diddy Kong Racing was loads of fun, so maybe there's... You already know it's awful. So the game starts off with Bottles talking to us. You know this is a prequel to Banjo-Tooie because he's not dead! So Banjo Pilot is a racing game. A really slow and bad one at that. When I think flying, I don't think hovering above the ground slightly like a go-kart and going 5 miles an hour. There's a lot of problems with this game. One of the biggest, however, is just look at it. There's nothing here. It's so empty. It looks like we're beta testing the game just to see if it works. There's no landscapes, fun scenery. It's just an open field full of nothing. This gets boring so quickly, and the perspective just feels weird. I don't know. You can never tell how far anyone is ahead of you. There's no sense of speed or anything. The game just feels like you're racing yourself in an empty field. Okay, I'm gonna say this sentence, and you tell me if it sounds weird. Resident Evil on Game Boy Color. Alright, actual Resident Evil 1 on the actual Game Boy Color! What? Resident Evil. Alright, we're off to a great start. I'm personally not a big fan of the original Resident Evil trilogy. I don't really like the tank controls or survival horror in general. I prefer something more action-y, like Resident Evil 4 to be honest. But still, who decided to put this giant exploration 3D game onto the Game Boy Color? Now, from a gameplay standpoint, no, playing Resident Evil on what's essentially an NES controller isn't ideal. But at the same time, look at this game. It's incredible that they managed to port over RE1 to a Game Boy. They easily could have just remade it into a basic side-scrolling shooter and just called it Resident Evil. But no, Capcom tried to take a huge gamble to recreate this pretty groundbreaking 3D game into this limited hardware. However, the game you're looking at now is just a prototype. Resident Evil on Game Boy was never fully completed, and was eventually resurfaced. Capcom was sent early builds of the game for evaluation, until they eventually pulled the plug, saying that they weren't confident that the product was something that both Capcom and the consumers would be happy with. And I have to agree. Despite being technically amazing, especially compared to something as simple as Mortal Kombat that ended up being so ugly and choppy, I still couldn't see myself playing this full-fledged survival horror game on my Game Boy. And now we've reached the final game that I have mixed feelings for. Mario Party Advance. Party on the go! Now, I love Mario Party, 2 and 4 being my absolute favorites. I love getting together with my friends and quickly ending our friendship when Chris steals my star for the 1,000,000th time! Even when Wario has the most stars! Do you not get how Mario Party works? So taking that on the go sounds great. Mario Party Advance. It's incredibly gorgeous to look at, and there's a story? Yeah, NPCs play a more prominent role in this game, fleshing out their characters and giving them more charm and depth than usual. I like it. So the gameplay is Mario Party. We roll dice and move on this board. Alone? Yeah, we're playing by ourselves, which is kind of weird. After our roll, we then play minigames. And yes, they're all really interesting and fun challenges, but we're still alone. A big part of the fun in Mario Party is playing with other characters, screwing them over, needing to work together if the time calls for it, basic board game shenanigans, vying to become number one through any means necessary. And it's kind of hard to do that when you're the only one playing. It's like playing Monopoly by yourself. Like, how does that even work? So that's where I'm kind of torn on this game. As a Mario Party title, it's not great. It lacks all of the elements that I consider a Mario Party game to have. But as its own separate game, involving fun dialogue and actual depth to side characters, as well as fun little solo minigame challenges thrown throughout, it's a really fun game to take on the go. It could be worse. It could be Crash and Spyro on the Game Boy Advance, the worst games in their respective series. It's almost like Nintendo purposefully made them bad. How else could you explain this level of suck? Like Nintendo was saying, look how bad these games are. You don't want Spyro or Crash, no! You want Mario. You sly dogs, Nintendo.